Yes, right now I'm just going to pass the ball to our team that will be conducting the sprint review. So for our newly joined team member, Temi, today the team is conducting a sprint review on the project they are working on. So their sprint has ended and they are about to do their sprint review. So yeah, that's what's going on, just so that you are aware of, don't feel lost. Adeyemi, do you have a question?
Yes, is that way you can grant me access? I want to display our board.
Yes, sure. Okay, so what's the name of your team, please?
The STAR team.
Okay, awesome. All right, STAR team, over to you. I'm just gonna mute myself.
All right, thank you, Coach. And again, welcome everyone, and thank you so much for availing your time to be part of this meeting. We're here to hold a sprint review for the sprint that we just concluded. And the purpose for this is to let the stakeholders know, to let you all know what it is that we did, any challenges that we faced, and how we overcame those challenges. And of course, more importantly, we're looking to get your feedback from this session, because like the saying goes, feedback is the breakfast of champions. So your feedback will go a long way. Again, another reason we're here is to also showcase the pillars of Scrum, because this is a great avenue to do that, where we display transparency, we talk freely and honestly, we inspect and adapt, and then utilize the feedback we have to, go and improve on our increment or the products, or the projects that we're working on. So at this point, I would like to introduce our team members, amazing team that we have. We have our Scrum Master, in the person of Chinyere Helen Showumi, my humble self. And we also have our PO. Our PO is Mercy Adewumi. And then we have the rest of our development team. We have Deborah, we have Harriet, we have Ifoma and Lola, who are going to be helping us with displaying and showcasing the work that has been done over the past week. And so the time box for this is 30 minutes-ish. We don't want to keep you all waiting, as we know that your schedule is very tight. And so let's, be open. Again, we're asking for honest feedback while we carry out this review. We're reviewing the product and the increments that we have done. Before I hand over to the PO, I think it's actually the PO to do this, but this is the burn down chart, and the burn down chart shows the work, shows the rate at which we burned down the work that we had committed to. Initially, we can see from the date, from the beginning date, which is the 19th, 18th, that we had a bit of gap. Now, the straight line that goes down is the ideal line that shows how the team should normally burn down the work. So that gives us a guide as to if we're doing well or if we are lagging behind. And in the beginning of the sprint, we can see that there was a little gap, there was a little lag. And this was due to personal exigencies that we had no control over. Team members had to be absent due to personal emergencies. And so we had to fill in the gap. But as you can see, by the 19th, we picked it up, still had some gap by the 20th, but by the 21st, you could see that we had regained our traction and the team was burning down and burnt down the work, completely and within schedule. So again, well done to the team for completing the sprint and accomplishing the tasks. But again, like I said, we're here to get the feedback. So at this point, I'm going to hand over the baton to the PO, Mercy, to give us a summary of the outcome of the sprint in terms of the commitment we made versus the actual results. And then we'll carry on. And then if there were any challenges, and how we overcame them. Mercy, thank you so much. You have the floor.
To my able Scrum Master, Chief Mrs. Ellen, thank you. I appreciate how the team in general, Team Star, we did a good work, and I appreciate everyone. My name is Mercy Hadelmi. I'm the product owner for this particular sprint that we just ended. Our goal for the sprint was that developers were being able to address with confidence key interview questions using the STAR technique. We committed to 13 stories, and at the end of the day, we are able to achieve those 13. Out of the 13, we will demo 4 today. We succeeded in delivering, we'll succeed in demonstrating 4 incremental value that have met the definition of done. Like my Scrum Master said earlier, we had a bit of challenge. The tools we started to use, Jira had developed issues along the way, and however, we needed to move from Jira to the Azure DevOps. That was one of the challenges we faced. And also, some developers that were assigned tasks, we found out that they had family emergency. We were proactive enough whereby we had backup developers that were working background. So immediately they were not available, those backups stepped in and they took over the assignments. We were able to resolve this issue, and that is because our team is cross-functional, and we are self-organizing and we coordinated ourselves well. And at the end of the day, we were able to deliver value to the organization, and we met the customer satisfaction. So today we have 4 incremental value that have met the definition of done, like I said earlier. And the first one we'll be talking about will be how have you resolved conflicts among team members, followed by what are some of the key APIs, key performance indicators you have used in the past. Tell me about yourself, about the mistake you've made as a Scrum Master. That will be the next one. And the last one will be what will you do if a user story has insufficient information. I'll be handing over to the developers to do the demo presently, then I'll get back to us once the demo is done. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that question. Conflict is what we witness in our day-to-day activities. And based on my past experience as a Scrum Master, there was 2 developers in my team. One is a junior and one is a senior. And each time this junior developer wants to talk at our meeting, the senior developer always interrupts and shuts him down. And to the point that I discovered that this junior developer stopped talking. So I had a one-on-one discussion with the junior developer, and he expressed that how uncomfortable he was to talk whenever the senior colleague is there to interrupt him. And that was why he stopped talking. I also had a one-on-one discussion with the senior developer as well. And he expressed that he was unaware that his interruption is making the junior colleague uncomfortable. So I had a coaching session with them where I coached them on Scrum value of respect. They all agreed with me, and in the subsequent meeting, the junior developer was able to talk uninterrupted, and this increased the harmony of the team. We were able to work together as a team, and at the end, we were able to deliver value to the customers and the business, and also it increased the motivation of the team members. Thank you.
Okay, at this point, just to give a bit of context to what it is we're doing, we would please, I would request that the stakeholders note down their feedback, and at the end of the 4 demonstrations, then they can give the feedback so that we are on time and we keep within the time box of 30 minutes, if that's okay by everyone. Thank you. Over to the next developer.
Okay, I have my hand up though. So as a facilitator, you want to make sure you're monitoring and if
That,
people
yeah.
have hands up, you know.
Thank you.
So, based on what you just said, Ms. Helen, I just want to say that that's a good strategy. However, in real life, the reason why you're demonstrating this is to gather feedback, and you know, people have that tendency of forgetting. Maybe as they're seeing it, something comes to their mind, and if they don't get it out like right away, they may forget, and it's not serving you as a team, because that's really why you're there, to get feedback. You see, so that's your strategy is one way, but I wouldn't use that strategy. I would rather request feedback right when this person is demonstrating. Immediately one person is done demonstrating whatever they're demonstrating, I'm going to pass the ball to stakeholders if they have any question or anything. We talk about it and then we move on. Because in real life, come to think of it, if we are working on a software like that, it's actually something that they're showing. That's the meaning of demonstration. And this person will be talking and showing how it's working, whatever they're claiming that this thing is doing now. And then if it's it's typical in-person setting, they'll even pass it around and people will take it and, you know, try whatever they're trying there. And that's how that conversation that we are looking for, collaboration, conversation back and forth, is happening. You know, so it's usually a very informal, comfortable conversation setup. It's not a strict, you know, So at this point, I would rather, you know, provide feedback on that answer. So,
thank you,
Deborah,
Coach.
you're welcome. I think you did a fantastic job, given that you only joined this program last week, Deborah. That's amazing on how you covered your answer. And I'm extremely, extremely happy to hear you talk about this that way. Because one of the biggest challenges that people would face, I don't know why, because I know we talk about this every single day, is applying the STAR technique. And you got that. So if you continue like that, understand the kind of questions, which typically this one is a clear scenario question, and then you apply your STAR technique just the way you did, that would be awesome. And then my other recommendation is that, let's say for conflict resolution, because that's one of the key questions that you should focus on. You always want to have at least 2 examples, but I'm not saying that here you were supposed to give 2 examples, but I'm saying that for your interview, make sure you shouldn't be having just one example for any scenario. No, because you want to have backup. You see, so yes, I think the way you covered that question to me was amazing, because you spoke in the past and then you followed your STAR technique. So that was great. So maybe anyone else?
Thank you, Coach.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Anything from anyone? I don't know. Maybe someone else have anything.
Yes, Coach. I just wanted to say that thank you for your feedback. Actually, that was what we did during, you know, when we were getting ready for the review. But we had said at the final stage to say, just follow the process. And we know that Coach is going to default to this, but we'll leave it to you to set that stage on how we're going to give the feedback. So yes, thank you so much. At least we know that that's the way it's meant to be done. And that's the way we did it. So, but thank you so much for that. Please, if we can have the next developer, if there's no other response.
I see Abiola's hand up. So just keep your eye on the hand raise function.
I was checking. I didn't see any. It was Emma, but okay. Abiola's hand is up now. Yes, please. Abiola, if you have the floor.
Yeah, I just want to say well done to Deborah. I was really engaged with that presentation, with that demo. You know, I find it hard to believe she just joined us a week ago. I just want to say well done. She owned the story. I could feel, you know, she was in tune with what she was saying, and I was really
internet.
I think we lost him.
Yes,
just move on.
Yes, we did. Okay, so Abiola, thank you so much for that feedback. We appreciate it. Okay, at this point, we'll hand it over to next developer. Harriet, please.
Thank you for that question. In my experience, I have worked with several types of KPIs. I have been able, such as the sprint burndown charts, the velocity, the release burndown charts, customer satisfaction, communication, technical debts. I have been able to use these KPIs in enabling the companies where I work to achieve their key business objectives. In my past, a company where I worked with a team where they were just carrying out work, but they were not able to, have a track of their performance. So I mentioned the implementation of a burndown chart, which I found out that they had no knowledge about it. So I offered to train them. They collaboratively came together as a team and decided to attend this training. I conducted the training where I taught them about the purpose of implementing the use of a burndown chart. I also enabled them to be able to understand the benefits of using this. And so we collectively agreed to, continuously use it. And during our daily stand-ups, we would refer to our burndown charts to see how we were working towards our sprint goal. So during that process of the process of implementation, I supported my team by providing follow-ups, guidance and support, and they were able to see the value that it brought, and they were happy moving forward. In return, based on customer satisfaction, we conducted a survey that showed that there's been an increase in customer satisfaction from 30% to 60%. The customers were happy with this proactive way of working, and that in return gave us as a team, the company, the customers, it made us very happy. We were motivated and we continued to even strive and do better. Thank you.
I think you're in mute, Ms. Helen, if you're talking.
Thank you. Sorry about that. Yes, if you can have feedback. Adeyemi, you have your hands up. Coach, you have your hands up as well. I don't know if it's for the same.
Yeah, Adeyemi did first, so.
Okay, good.
All right. Thank you, Harriet, for the increments. You mentioned several KPIs. For me, I would have suggested you mention probably 3 and tell us the usefulness of those KPI, what it's for. I think that would be better than going through. For me, it's more like a direct question, not necessarily a story that you need to use a STAR technique. That's what I would have said. Thank you.
Yeah, I think Harriet, we have 2 Harriets, so thank you very much for covering this. And I like the fact that you understood the question in the first place. And because sometimes when people hear about KPIs, they're already scared. They don't even know what that is. They don't know it's metrics you're talking about. So that's why I wanted to call that out, so that for those who may be in that situation, know that KPI refers to metrics. It's the same thing. So for improvement opportunities, what Adeyemi said is the same thing I would say. Because this question is, it's a direct question that really doesn't require a scenario like that. If I'm asked this question the way it's put, I'm going to be very specific. So I can pick on about 3 metrics. For example, the burndown chart, velocity, can even talk about capacity planning, can even talk about maybe release burndown, whatever works for you. I'll pick on those 3 and then focus on them. And what am I going to be covering? I'm going to cover what this metrics is, the purpose. Because remember, if it's not broken, there is no need to fix it. So anything you're adopting and introducing to the team, you're introducing because you feel that it's going to solve an identified issue. You're not just doing it because Scrum says that this thing, it's done in Scrum teams. You see, lean, we are being lean here. We don't want overhead and stuff like that. So yes, I'm going to cover why, the purpose for this. For example, maybe you want to focus on burndown chart and you speak on how you leverage that to continuously monitor the progress of your work daily, especially during daily Scrum. And as a result of that, the team can clearly identify some of their setbacks, and it will provoke questions. And that's how you're able to identify impediments and quickly make adjustments so that you remain on track towards meeting your goal for the sprints. So that is why you're using it, you see. But I'm not going to talk about it how it's used. I'm not going to talk about it how, because that's one of the mistakes people will make, unless they ask me about it. Before I'll talk about it. And then, yes, the last thing you said, which is how that, whatever that metrics you introduced was able to increase value or deliver value. Yes, I will say that. And then one other thing that you said that I hope you can correct it. You said customers were happy because of this metrics. So I would want to know who your customers are. Are your customer in-house, internal to the organization, or are your customers external to the organization? Because those are the two common customers we have. Maybe you're producing a product that is consumed in-house, or your customers are out external facing. If your customers are external facing, they don't care about whatever metrics you're using. They don't know nothing about that. All they care is their increments, the one at the end of the sprint, you see. So if you're making that statement, it will open a can of worms for you. Follow-up question like what I just asked. Unless you're referring to in-house customers, and these people may be your leadership, the ones that you're doing this presentation. So you see, so just make sure that you know the difference. So rather, I would say that this, as a result of this, leadership was very impressed, because now they can clearly, that will increase visibility and transparency into the work you're doing. And while your team was leveraging that to monitor and track progress so that they can improve on their performance, leadership, because that's really the primary users of these metrics, leadership also benefited from these because they can clearly see where the team is at and then provide support and guidance to the team as needed based on the metrics. So that's how I would have addressed that question.
Okay, thank you so much for that. Any other feedback for Harriet?
I have a comment, please. Coach, I don't want to clarify from you based on your contribution in this story. So are we saying that a scenario is not necessary in this question? But we're looking at what are some of the KPI you have used in the past. So I just want to be sure that scenario is not necessary in this question.
It's not. It's not. You don't. I don't see how you want to do a scenario here, because it's very straightforward. So this one you're just stating. This one is a stating kind of question.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Any other feedback before we move to the next developer?
Yeah, what I wanted to add to that is the question is a what question, not a how question. A how question is where you need a scenario to explain how, but this asks what KPIs. So that's just the addition I want to make.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So moving ahead, we will call on Ifoma to give her, demonstrate her increment. Ifoma, you have the floor.
Okay, hi. Thank you so much for that question. When I first joined my team in the early stages of my Agile journey, I noticed that they were not doing their sprint reviews and their daily stand-up. So I immediately jumped in and I started to tell them that they needed to start doing those events. But the more I told them, I was receiving a lot of resistance from them. they told me that all those events would hamper the flow of their work, that they didn't have any need for those events. So as a result of the resistance I got from them, I had to step back to reassess myself to see what I wasn't doing right. And then I realized that, you know, as a Scrum Master, when you join a new team, the first thing you're supposed to do is to observe, listen, and ask questions. And also, when you're trying to, you know, bring about a change, you should, you know, try to, when you're proposing a change, you should, you know, sell the value that that change is going to bring. So when I realized my mistake, I decided to, you know, make adjustments. So during the when we came back for our retrospective, I brought up the issue again to the team. This time around, I wasn't just telling them that they needed to do this event. I explained to them the value that those events would bring. I explained to them that the daily stand-up was for the team to, you know, come together, collaborate, and for them to have visibility, transparency to their work, and for them to equally be able to identify any impediment they might have and find ways that they can resolve those impediments. I also explained to them that the sprint reviews, did I say the daily stand-up for them to identify impediments? And then at the sprint reviews was for them to, you know, demo the work that they have done, and for the stakeholders to inspect their work and then getting feedback and being able to use those feedback to adapt and make improvements as necessary to their work. So when I explained all that to the team, at that point, the team was having issues in the transparency of their work, and also they were having issues because an MVP that they spent 6 months, you know, building, the stakeholders rejected it. So at that point, they didn't know what to do. Their spirit, they were demoralized. So when I suggested all this to them, I suggested to them if we could try it for 1 sprint, and if they don't see any value in it, we could stop. So they agreed. So we tried it the first sprint. Then when we came back for the next retrospective, I asked them how they feel about the events. They said it was okay, that we could continue doing it. So that was how we continued to do it sprint after sprint. We did it for 3 sprints, and then after 3 sprints, we were able to come up with an MVP that was way better than what the team spent 6 months building. And you know, their morale was increased. The stakeholders were happy based on what we were able to come and deliver, and we're able to deliver value at the end of the day. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that. I see Emeka's hands up. Emeka, was that the previous one, or you have a feedback?
Sorry, that was the previous one.
All right, thank you. Does anybody have any feedback for her? Okay, Coach, please.
Okay, I just first want to state that we keep an eye on time though, because if you're not time conscious, your stakeholders will leave you and disappear. Yeah, so, Ifeoma, thank you for that. On what was the question? So first of all, our facilitator,
okay,
what I'll be doing is, just so that people are sure what exactly you're talking about here, I would rather not show all of these because we are not addressing all of these. It's a little bit confusing. So maybe you can just double click to open that particular work item. That's just a tip.
Thank you so much.
Okay, yeah. Now for this question, I like that you people added this in your backlog, because this question is becoming top priorities, one of the commonly asked questions. And one mistake that most people will go do is they will claim that they've never made any mistake. That's a trap. That's a trap right there. You claiming you've never made any mistake, regardless of what else you say after that, you say bye for these people. They're not calling you back. Because there's no one on this earth that have never made any mistake on their job. That's just the truth. Nobody's perfect. So I like Ifeoma's example. I really like that example. For improvement, I will starting to talk about, especially that's your specific example. I'm going to emphasize that it was my early days as a Scrum Master. so that these people are not tempted to judge you, thinking that you are a command and control kind of Scrum Master. You see, so they would understand that in those days, your early days, you were still learning. You see, and then now you giving that example, it shows that you were open to feedback from team members. It wasn't just you figuring out, so you got feedback from team members that, okay, you're asking them to do this, but they don't. Why should they do it? Because they don't see any value in this. And then that's when you realize that, okay, or you can even say that you connected with your mentor. That shows that you can do anything, go any mile to support your team. You connected with your mentor, and your mentor, help you it gave you a strategy that why don't you sell it instead of telling them? Sell it to them, show them why they should do it, the value, the impact of them doing this, and the negative and what they'll be missing out if they are not conducting this activity. And that is, you're just showing them what is in it for them. And you're suggesting. So after you saw that, and then it was just a recommendation. And with the strategy of experimenting, why don't we experiment this? Which means that already shows that if it doesn't work, we can drop it. It's not set on stone. You see, that already relaxes people, knowing that, okay, we are not bound to this even if it's not working. We can always let it go. And then with that, they gave you the benefit of the doubt, and they started conducting these events and the rest of everything you said. Just to add to that, what I wouldn't do is go ahead to start explaining the purpose of this event to these interviewers. I will not do that. Like what you said that, the daily Scrum was for, I'm not going to say all that. You see, yeah, you explained these things to your team. I'm just going to say that to my interview. I'm not going to start explaining the purpose because they didn't ask me about it. And you mentioning the purpose of a daily Scrum, you say it's to come and capture impediments. Now I'm beginning to wonder if you truly understand the purpose of a daily Scrum. Yes, identifying impediment is just a part of it, but what is the overall purpose of this meeting? So that is your homework. For the sake of time, we're not going to talk about it yet. On Monday, I would like to hear you, Ifeoma, come and tell us the purpose of your daily Scrum. So for the sake of time, maybe we cannot talk about. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I thought I had a slip of tongue. I don't know. I thought I said daily Scrum and sprint review instead of daily Scrum.
No, yeah, I know, but again, you corrected yourself and you said that the purpose, you explained to these people that it's to come and identify impediment. Yes, it's true, but that's just part of why you're holding daily Scrum. So again, your homework is to go, and on Monday you will tell us. That's going to be our first question. We'll discuss the purpose of a daily Scrum. Yeah, so other than that, I think everything else was great.
All right, thank you so much, Coach, for that feedback. We appreciate that. Due to time exigencies, we will move on to the next, their feedback. But at this point, I want to call on the PO to help us think and know what the next direction is for the next sprint, the next sprint goal, and the direction we're going based on the feedback we have received.
All right, so thank you so much, my team members. Thank you so much, Coach Karen, for the privilege you've given us to be able to demonstrate and practicalize all our knowledge on what we've been training, what we've been learning on our behalf. We don't take that for granted, and making this class being as practical as possible. However, going forward, for the next spring, we are going to continue to commit helping developers being able to address with confidence interview questions using the STAR technique. Then the other thing is that we would also try to use the other tools so that we familiarize ourselves for our experience that as a Scrum Master, we familiarize ourselves using other tools like Miro, Slack, and Confluence. So we'll introduce that during the Jira group to know how to use those tools so that when we find ourselves practicing, we are very comfortable with the tools already. I appreciate the whole team. This is not like an individual. Like I said earlier today, a win for one is a win for all. So I appreciate the 4 people that came on board are not the only ones that made it successful. Every of the stakeholders, every of our customers, our coach Karen giving us this platform. We appreciate. Thank you, my Scrum Master. You did a fantastic job. We love you. Have a lovely night.
Well, thank you everyone.
I couldn't just hold back and not show my excitement. Seriously. Oh God.
Thank you. Everybody can breathe easy now.
That was just everything. Seriously. In my early days as a Scrum Master, as a Scrum Master on the ground, I wasn't even close to 20% of what you all did today. I wasn't, to be honest with you.
Coach, it was you directed us. We used your video on YouTube. You have the content out there. We just put it down and and we ran with it.
You guys, no, what did I say, you guys? God forbid. You all are way better than you think. I'm telling you. You all are doing way, you're deep. You're way deeper than you think. It's just that thing in your head that is just trying to bring that imposter syndrome and just defeat you. That's an enemy. I'm telling you. It was everything. I can say this is the best sprint review session we've had in this program. To be honest with you. Given that Deborah is new.
Yes.
My God.
And Mercy.
Yeah. But you need to see how these people were on my neck. They almost crucified me.
I like it. I like that kind of crucifixion. And then they're telling you, you are just awesome as a Scrum Master. I like how you carried yourself. And one important thing that I really want to talk about is how you and Mercy, you didn't make your team members that had to attend to their emergencies feel attacked. I like that. I like how you were general about it and you showed that team spirit. You see, that doesn't happen easily. It doesn't come by often. So that was amazing. And then Mercy, I'm not sure why you are on the Scrum Master path. You should really be so
Ube sent me a private message and said, go get your certification for PO.
No, for real though. For real though, I would recommend that you just take the certification. Because if you already have a PSA, which you do because you passed through my level 1, then you're already halfway done with the PO journey. You really don't need any class to go take that. Well, you can go take a class, but to be honest with you, it should be easy for you to go get that PO certification. Not because you want to become a PO, but to enhance your understanding. And you can never know. Maybe you can pick some interest in that direction once you're already on the field. You see. So, you all did amazing.
Just to add to that, Coach, it was practice. The team did great. Everyone was present. People contributed. They made it, they made this work. And for everybody tomorrow, I don't know how you're going to get it, but as a treat, we're going to have ice cream.
You guys have your retrospective, right?
Gary and granules.
So you all should be having your retrospective after this.
Correct.
Yes. Then you can do all that celebration. Now, for the sake of time here, I think we are done with this. So great job. So I always like to inform team members before I do this